Hi, Matt with eTrailer. If you have a 2023 BMW X5 and you're trying to get through some pretty icy situations, then the Titan chain tire chains with the V-bars are going to be a great option for you. Now we're going to have this on tire size 275/45 R20. That's just the size we have today. It will fit a variety of other sizes. Now we're going to have this on the rear axle is what the manual recommends. The manual also recommends that you turn off your rear axle steering just so when this is on here, it's not going to damage anything in your wheel well. And if you're not sure if this is going to fit your vehicle, you can actually plug in your vehicle's information into our fit guide to find the right one for you. And taking a closer look at these links, they are going to have that twist link, but on top of that twist link, we do have the V-bar. The V-bar is what's making this a great fit for those really icy situations. So work great for snow too, but they're going to really lend themselves more to ice. Now there are some larger sizes of these links for other chains, and I think those are going to be great too, but either one isn't going to be a bad choice. And we're going to have a ladder pattern design to them. Ladder patterns are great for giving you more traction to stop and start. And here if we look at the bottom, you'll notice we do have this lever. That lever is going to help take out any slack from your chains. Now I think it is good, but what I like more is the set of these we have on our website that have cams built into them. They're going to have the same size links and those V-bars. Only those cams are going to help get everything a little bit tighter, easier. And speaking of tensioning devices, I do recommend using a rubber tensioner with this, because while that lever does help, I think this is going to be a little bit better and help get a little bit more slack out of this. And what usually happens with chains when you're driving with them is they typically shift. And once they shift, they usually loosen up. So what's going to happen with this is if your chains do loosen up, it's going to constantly apply tension so they don't loosen up too much and damage anything on your vehicle. Now this isn't going to come with your kit. You guys should find one of those on our website if you don't already own one. Now what will come with your kit is going to be 2 of these chains in this light duty bag. I do recommend investing in a small tote to keep your chains in, because this bag is probably going to get torn up in just a few uses since it is so light duty. In my opinion, I think this is a solid option if you are looking for something to get through those more icy situations. Now, if you plan on driving on more moderate snow and ice conditions with more pavement showing through, then I'd recommend checking out the P-WAG square link chains. And the reason I recommend those is because it's going to be more forgiving when it comes to pavement. If these were to make contact with pavement, they're probably going to tear it up a little bit. So this is going to be more, it's going to lend itself more to those really deep snow and ice situations, or if you're going more off-roading. So it's really going to depend on what situation you're driving with these in. Now if you're curious about the installation, just stay tuned, we'll walk you through it. To begin the installation, I recommend grabbing some gloves just to make this a little bit easier and laying out your chains. Now we're going to do a few things with them, and we'll just be checking for any damages to the links. Checking those welds, making sure everything's working properly, nothing's twisted up, and we want to make sure it's in the right orientation. So we want to make sure these hooks are facing up where the flat side is going to be against your tire. Then we're going to look at the end of our chains. We want to make sure this lever is closest to us and furthest away from your tire. Once we've established that, we can start putting it on. So what I find best is just a walk over here and grab it from the center, then drape it over. From here, you can adjust your fitment. So we want to make sure it's not hanging too low. It's going to make contact with your rim. And I can put my hand on the back side of it, make sure it's even on either side. You'll eventually reach the point where you're going to be going down the side of your tire, making sure it's getting that same fitment, and then arranging the ends of your chains so we can gain access to those connection points a little bit easier. You might run into the issue where one side is a little bit too much, or hanging over a little bit too much, so you can just really pull or push on the chains to get it all centered up on your tire. And speaking of those connections, we're going to start on the back side because it's a little bit harder to reach. It's better just to get that out of the way. And this is just really going to consist of you grabbing one side with that hook and the other side, which is going to be some links, and just hooking them together. And this might take a few attempts just because it is a little bit tighter underneath here. And you don't want this to be too tight where you can't get a good fit on either side. And you don't want it too loose where it's going to come loose and make contact with something on your vehicle. And the connection on the front side is going to be a little bit different. So instead of just using a hook, we're going to use this lever and we're going to push it through one of these links. This one's probably going to be a good one. Get enough tightness from it. And then we're just going to take this and hook it on to this link right here. When you're done with that, just come back through, kind of pull on it some, make sure everything feels good. And this is feeling alright. I might try to adjust it just a tad bit more. If I can get a little bit tighter, I'll like that, but if this is as tight as we can go, it'll do. There we go. That's feeling way better. And from here, we're just going to grab a rubber tensioner and put it on for the reasons why I talked about earlier. And the way you want to do this is to put it on in a star pattern. Putting it on in a star pattern is going to make sure you have even pressure all the way throughout your chains. And once you put those hooks on, you want to make sure that they're facing away from your tire so they don't puncture anything. Once that feels good, then you repeat that process on the other side. Then I recommend pulling forward or backing up some, checking them over again to make sure nothing's shifted too much. And if they look good, you can take them out for a ride. Well, that was just a look at the installation and some of the features of our Titan chain tire chains with the V bars on our 2023 BMW X5. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.